We've been rowing for 8 hours. We're in Thousand Island Lake.
We're looking for the mythical island of Xochitepec.
Legend has it, there's a Mazateca community living there, in almost complete isolation for 60 years.
And our goal is to find it.
My name is Manuel Rosenberg. 10 years ago, I was a mathematics graduate selling poker games to Vegas casinos. But after traveling the world, I decided to push myself away from my protected environment.
My name is Norman Rodea. Since I was a little kid, my parents introduced me to the jungle, to the forest. Now, I live in the mountain and I'm a professional guide. We're gonna take you to the most remote locations in Mexico and Latin America.
And live unique experiences and see how people live in perfect harmony with their environment. This is Pachamama. A few years ago, I heard of the legend of the island of Xochitepec in Thousand Island Lake. In the 1950s, Mexico was building mega hydroelectric dams. Now Tuxtepec Valley was full of small hills, so when they flooded the entire valley, the people didn't know where to go, so they ran to the highest hill, which is now the highest island, the island of Xochitepec. Since then, they've been living in complete isolation. It's been 70 years now. At least, that's what the legend says. We want to find it, but we want to find it Pachamama style.
It's gonna be fun as hell, man. It's the middle of the rainy season in Mexico. We're gonna go through mountains to jungles, navigate a river, and get into a labyrinth of islands. It's gonna be amazing. Check it out. We're gonna go south and up the mountains all the way to Songolica. Once we get to the Songolica, the highest point of the watershed, we're gonna go down the watershed and we're gonna cross the jungle in this part. Because down there is nothing, absolutely nothing. Somehow, I really have no idea how we're gonna do this. We're gonna navigate the Tonto River all the way to Xochitepec Island. But the fun part begins once we get to the lake. Depending on the water level is the amount of islands that we're gonna find. If the water level is too high, we're gonna find not many islands. But if the water level is really low, we're gonna find more than 1,000 islands, and that can turn into an impossible labyrinth. Pachamama style!
Pachamama style! Our adventure to the hidden island of Xochitepec begins in Atempa, a town deep in the mountains of Veracruz. It should be a short 3-hour hike down a pre-Hispanic path to the town of Songolica. It's slippery here. These pre-Hispanic roads have been walked for thousands of years by the local communities.
These are the roads of deep Mexico and deep Latin America. You cannot find them on a map, just the people know about them.
If you follow these mountain roads, after a few hardcore months, you would reach all the way to Patagonia.
I can't think of a more perfect spot to practice my mariachi scream.
Even Norms, who's a great guide, always asks the locals for directions. The hard part is, very few of them speak Spanish. It's very easy to get lost.
Those hanging nests are the nests of the oropéndula bird. For those of you who understand Spanish, I like to call those nests los huevos del abuelo, because that's what my grandfathers looked like. ¿Vamos bien para Songolica?
Xiquitagania no me van a mayasque para Tlacpac.
Tlaticpac.
Como yas que melahka no pomas tiven Songolica. Ompo ya ompo motlagovisque. Ajá. Pues ya no me van tleno que cuigo. Son po melahka no mayasque. Cante guarmuega. Quema.
Gracias, señora.
Shmuega.
Hasta luego. Beautiful. Live Nahuatl language. We're only about 3 hours away from Songolica.
3 more hours? Wow.
That flower is called oleoluki, or manto de la virgen in Spanish. It's hallucinogenic.
Do you eat it?
Take out the seeds, smash the seeds, and people smoke it.
Grind them up, make some
Grind
bit of
them up,
tobacco.
a bit of tobacco.
And it's another power plant.
In English, it's called morning glory.
This is awesome. In this jungle, if you give plants a chance, they will take over in a second. I bet these ruins went green in just a couple of years. I'm glad I'm following Norman, because I have no clue where we are.
Just keep following the trail. Those were the directions of the lady, the Nahuatl lady.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Because I understood the meant take a right after the first farm.
As they would say in a survival show.
What you want to do in a survival situation like this is always follow the chicken noises. People live around chickens. So that's what you want to do to survive. This is it. Songolica.
we made it, man.
Good hike.
What we thought would be a 4-hour hike turned out to be an awesome 8-hour trek. We finally made it to Songolica Market. Here, we can ask people who do speak Spanish and get better directions towards the Thousand Island Lake.
La presa de Mil Islas. Para arriba.
Our best shot is to walk west, keep asking around. Hopefully we'll find the place. Let's ask to more people though.
Pachamama, ¿y qué es eso?
La Pachamama es la madre tierra.
La madre tierra que nos da de comer. De la tierra viene la vida toda. ¡Viva la Pachamama!
Coming up next, we'll find the majestic Cave of Swallows, catch ourselves a jungle dinner, and arrive at the stunning birth of the Tonto River. We're in Veracruz, Mexico, on our way to the legendary island of Soyaltepec, where it is said that indigenous people have been living in an isolated island for the past 60 years. To get there, we'll have to walk for 24 miles to reach the birth of the Tonto River, which will take us to the Thousand Island Lake. Our only point of reference along the way is the Cave of Swallows.
Fucking mosquitoes.
Walking through the jungle is especially hard during the rainy season.
We're supposed to go head southwest.
It is extremely humid and the insects are vicious.
It's pure mud from the place, and when you have like poison ivy or those type of plants and they itch in the skin, you put some mud, some water, it'll refresh and it'll take like 10 minutes just to get better. We've reached the Cave of Swallows, an impressive rock formation in the middle of the jungle. This is just such an overwhelming feeling.
This is amazing. This is really what you dream about when you're walking through the jungle. To find a place like this, completely hidden, vibrant with life. This is an altar for the Virgin. I really love the fact that what's evidently sacred to anyone who comes here, just because, you know, the place exudes magic, is realized by the same people who would usually go to church, but on really sacred days, they know that this is where God really lives. I want to see if the cameras can capture this fluorescent green. It's just, for me, this green moss, that's what I really connect with. Check this out. This friend, as Norman taught me once, is actually quite beneficial for humans. It's perfectly inoffensive, but more than that, when you shake him up, you scare him, you blow at him, you yell at him, gets really scared. It urinates on you, and that urine is actually an insect repellent. Let's see if it works. I don't know. Ugh. This repellent is definitely gonna work. Thanks, buddy.
Hey man, come over here. Take a look at this.
These ones.
This one's called Mano de Dios. When you hit yourself, you put your feet inside a hot pot of water, and then you scrub yourself with these leaves. If everybody knew about them, we wouldn't need pharmacies at all.
Chequen este honguito. This beautiful mushroom here, it's kind of a masochistic mushroom, is that it needs to be stepped on to reproduce, because that's the way the spores are going to come flying out. The spores are going to land on the ground. Let's squeeze on one, see how the spores come out. It almost feels like playing with a human breast. Has that shape, has that softness. I wouldn't want to encounter a human breast that throws this kind of spores, this kind of smoke out through its nipple. Looks like we made it to little scattered civilization here.
In Spanish we call these rancherias. This is not even on the map.
Looks like we're very close to the birth of the river.
We did it, man! This is it,
Tonto
dude!
River!
Now I understand. It is a proper cave. The water comes from inside the cave.
The birth of the Tonto River.
Coming up next, we're closer to our destination. We'll navigate the unpredictable Tonto River to discover the majestic Thousand Island Valley. We're in search of the forgotten island of Soyaltepec, where a community has been living for 60 years in isolation. We've crossed breathtaking mountains and seen sacred places all along the way. Now, we're at the birth of the fantastic Tonto River, which we will paddle all the way down to Thousand Island Lake. That massive hole in the mountain is where the river is born. I am totally feeling in a set of some science fiction film right now. Being here really reminds me of the movie Alien. Feeling the waterness as it's freshly coming down from the earth and creating this river and witnessing the birth of a river. After a complete hour in complete darkness, seeing this amazing light is a religious experience. This is definitely a temple of Mother Nature.
We're finally navigating the Tonto River. If we paddle downstream for 40 miles, we'll reach the mythical, the legendary Thousand Island Valley.
It was getting dark, so we decided to camp out in the nearest beach.
In a survival situation, it's important that you don't have any sand left in you.
Unfortunately, we were told there was a big waterfall just ahead. We're gonna have to ditch our rafts right here and walk to the nearest town. Might as well take advantage of the stop and go for a quick swim.
Dude, next time I'm bringing my girlfriend.
Yeah, you're scaring me a bit. I think I'm gonna go swim on that side of the river. Really tall, beautiful tree is where all the rubber in the world comes from. This species of tree, at least.
Car tires, wrappings, all the little rubbers you
Rubber
can
bands.
find.
That stuff that you use to protect your iPhone. And the condom.
The white resin of the tree, of the rubber tree, sits it solid and it turns into this. It's proper rubber. I mean,
Let me check it out.
feel it, man. It's rubber, like proper rubber.
Ugh. This little bug right here, it's called a cuetla. Sporting the beautiful Rastafari color. This beauty right here is actually a pretty nutritious meal. This beautiful cuetla caterpillar she's gonna be my dinner tonight. Thank you, Pachamama, for this beautiful gift. We walked for another few hours until we made it to Raya Licona, the last town by the river before the Thousand Island Lake.
The tranquility, the lifestyle, the quality of life is just a place full of life. We just got here and we got smiles from everybody. It's just, there's no words for it. It's just overwhelming.
Raya Licona is the last town in the banks of the Tonto River. It's a Mazateca community. Mazatecas are the same culture that we're gonna find in Soyaltepec Island.
Right now, I'm doing everybody a favor. I'm washing my shirt for the sake of everyone around me. And we managed to get ourselves a panga to continue to Soyaltepec.
Feels like we've been running for hours. This is a maze, man. Everything looks exactly the same. There's so many islands. Sometimes you have to go around them. It's impossible to follow on a map. The only way to get to Soyaltepec is to row. And when you make a mistake, row around. At some point, if it doesn't look like we're gonna make it, we're gonna have to choose an island and camp out.
Coming up next, we will finally find out whether the legend of the island of Soyaltepec is true. Can there really be such a place where an indigenous community is living in complete isolation?
We're deep into our journey. We've crossed the Veracruz jungle in canoe to Thousand Island Lake. We thought we'd make it to Soyaltepec Island very fast, but because the water level is low, new unexpected islands have appeared, and so it was impossible to figure out which way to row. We decided to camp out and continue tomorrow. Trying to get a fire started to cook the cuetlas that we picked up the other day but didn't get a chance to eat, and that was really good luck because we're stranded in an island. We couldn't make it to Soyaltepec rowing today. We got lost, and the cuetlas are gonna be our dinner tonight. A lot of protein, we're gonna need it. Let's hope they don't taste as disgusting as they look. My first cuetla. Actually pretty good. Like them. There's absolutely no shade anywhere in sight in Thousand Island. In the 1950s, Mexico was building mega hydroelectric dams. This place used to be a valley with 1,000 hills, and now it's the lake with 1,000 islands. When the water started flooding people's homes, they all ran to the highest mountain, which turned into the island we're now rowing to.
Now I understand why they call it a 1,000 Island Lake. We have been rowing through island and island and island and island, and this seems to have no end.
There must be a little hole, a lot of water keeps coming in, and the more water, the more difficult it is to row.
In a survival situation, you always need a 2-liter bottle of Coke. Otherwise, you can't.
No doubt this is it. It's been an incredible journey. This is no doubt Soyaltepec Island. It's the tallest island in the lake. There are several houses. Most of them have lights. If these mazatecas are as nice and kind as they were in Raya Licona, we should find a place to sleep and a place to eat. Mission accomplished.
Dude, we made it, man!
Finally made it to the mythical island of Soyaltepec. We were lucky that Don Jose greeted us, lent us a couple of hammocks, and let us sleep in his house.
After 9 hours of the most intense rowing under the hottest sun, and 1 hour just to climb up to the top of this island, I'm exhausted, man.
This is exactly what an abandoned, isolated island in my dreams looks like. It's very, very quiet, a few houses lined up.
This island is complete paradise. People here might be isolated from our world, but really, they're deeply connected to their place, to the Pachamama.
Soyaltepec, Main Street, 2 p.m. Bustling commerce on the streets, as you can tell. Everyone has their own chickens, everyone grows their own food, and they have the cave tree. The cave tree is essential for Soyaltepec, where this is where children play. Never stop being a kid. Let's see what else Soyaltepec has to offer. This is awesome.
Nashihen,
Okay.
Mazateca.
Nashihen. Un poquito, sí.
Taseni mi kucha mangasa.
A ver. Ndah machahe nihin namina ku.
Ku chukunangi.
Aquí está. Chukunanji. ¿Más o menos? Ya estoy aprendiendo mazateca.
This is the backyard, and they naturally have a lot of fruit trees. Some tangerines, a lot of guayaba, papaya, guanabana, lemon. So pretty much year-round they have some sort of fruit to eat. With this type of soil, with this much humidity and this much sun, pretty much anything can grow.
Maya, Nihiya, Nyaya, Nachuya, Sutia, Nyangana, Chia, Bidisrangia, cat out, no cat out. Then I can't let her go jang it a mahina. Nganda and a janga, a nganda, going Tiasami yak, nganda.
Juan Daniel is going to show us his house so we can get a feel of what a typical Soyaltepec house looks like. People here don't have much money, but they are far from being poor. They have natural food, health, and clean air. Much better than most of the world. This is truly a beautiful house. The town jail. It looks like it's been empty for 10, 20, maybe 30 years. Not too many people in Soyaltepec break the law.
Vivimos tranquilos aquí en la isla de Soyaltepec, aquí no tenemos ningún problema. Nos vamos tranquilos, nos regresamos tranquilamente y no pasa nada.
Families get together to weave their fishing nets. They are almost completely self-sufficient here. We were lucky to meet Doña Juana, who cooked the most mouth-watering, heavenly fish in the whole world.
Chile, el tomate, especia, el pasote.
It's all cooked with firewood, and this leaf just gives a really unique taste, unique flavor. From any spot in this island, you'll have these breathtaking views. So it was quite a trip to make it all the way here to Soyaltepec, wasn't it?
Incredible adventure.
What I was really amazed, do you remember the mural behind the church?
Oh yeah, the one with the beautiful Pachamama in the sky.
That one. There was this tree coming out from the jungle, and at the end of the tree there was this book that had a phrase that read something like, the people who, without denying their tradition, masters the technique will overcome anguish and
achieve plentifulness.
There you go, man.
And I think the message is beautiful. Embrace your roots, but keep evolving.
Exactly.
A message not just for Soyaltepec, but for Mexico, maybe the entire world.
So we can live something like this. Pachamama style.